Hi everyone, today we are comparing two different phones, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and of course the Xiaomi 12 Pro, comparing both their capabilities in terms of camera performance. This is gonna be daytime and of course some low light shots as well, comparing how both of them perform. Either way, the Samsung Galaxy S21 is of course a little bit older, but there are some advantages over the Samsung Galaxy S21 when it comes to of course the Xiaomi 12 Pro, because the Xiaomi 12 Pro doesn't have that 10 times optical zoom where the Samsung does. So without a doubt, in terms of zoom, Samsung wins. But let's start comparing the sensors that they do have and that are comparable. Either way, let's jump into this video.
So let's begin with a simple shot. In this shot you can clearly tell there's a difference. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra has more contrast to the shot, where the Xiaomi 12 Pro is the warmer and brighter shot. Well, the brightness is about that the colors are more accurate on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. With this close shot of the tree, again basically the same story as previous. However, the Samsung does have more saturations to the green on the background, and both have a very different looking sky. Both of them again I would say are off here. So let's look at some buildings. Again, there's a difference in contrast, but colors are decently close to each other, with again more contrast on the Samsung, but also more sharpening with the Samsung, making the bricks stand out more than what it is in reality. Here, the Xiaomi 12 Pro is closer to reality and a shot I prefer because of too much sharpening with the Samsung. And this is something you will see a lot on buildings. The contrast combined with the sharpening on the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra makes the brick stand out more than it is in reality. The Xiaomi goes for the more realistic, tuned down version that reflects reality a bit more. But also there's a difference in color. With this shot for instance, the Xiaomi gets it pretty spot on. And that same story just keeps showing up with shots similar to this. This is one building you might have seen plenty of times on my main channel, and here again there's a difference in terms of approach. The Samsung goes for the bit cooler look, where the Xiaomi goes for the bit more warm tone. Both of them are not spot on, but the sky did have more of a haze cloud effect that the Xiaomi showcases, but both shots do have plenty of detail here. I think both of them did a good job here. However, most of these shots you don't see a lot of color, and that's because I prefer shots like this, where you can showcase buildings. But for the ones where you will see more colors, you can see that, for instance, the Samsung does have a bit more saturation to it, making the orange look off compared to what it is in reality. While the Xiaomi is spot on with the color, it is more bright than it is in reality here. Of course, going back to a house with a lot of character, the building here shows a clear difference in approach. The blues are more blue on the Samsung because of that saturation, and the bricks are very different in color, and here again I will have to say that the Xiaomi is closer to reality, which is almost a repeat for this shot as well, though Samsung seemingly has gone a tad bit closer to reality compared to the previous shot of the same building, however of course on a different angle. Now here we are at the church, one of my favorite subjects to film here in Arnhem. Again, this church has a lot of details in it, different styles of bricks and all different types of colors in between as well. And you can see again a different approach. The Xiaomi looks more subtle, where the Samsung has a bit more brightness to it. But again, I will have to give it slightly more to the Xiaomi because it gets closer to reality, and also I kind of like this approach a bit more. Now to this Harry Potter looking like building, I don't know why, but it just looks like it. The Samsung here adds more warmth to the sun, and it's quite a bit. However, I will have to say that the Xiaomi is a bit colder and has this blue approach. I would say reality is somewhere in between of these. It isn't as warm as the Samsung, but it isn't as cold as we see on the Xiaomi. Both are fine shots, but both are not the closest in terms of reality. With this one, however, I will say Samsung goes overboard a bit with the warmness. The sun is very yellow in this shot. You can see it clearly compared to the Xiaomi. Where the Xiaomi goes for the colder color, and again, I wouldn't say that it's really reality here, but between the two, again, I would say it's slightly closer to the Xiaomi, but the Xiaomi does need some warmness to the shot here, because we do have some of it. And of course we have some sharpening here for the Samsung as well. Granted, I think in this case both shots look fine and I don't think there's much to it. However, as stated, I think the Samsung goes a bit too warm and the Xiaomi goes a bit too cold. Here another shot of the church. However, here you can see a bit more yellow tone to the Xiaomi. This is what I mean when it comes to those previous shots from Xiaomi where it is a tad too cold. Here it actually kind of nails it. It has that little bit of warmness to it, what it's supposed to have, but not overdoing it. However, funny enough, Samsung is saying here, well, you know what? You said before that we made it too warm, here we do the opposite and make it look a tad too cold compared to what it is in reality. That yellow light of the sun is completely gone. However, I will have to say, both of these shots look great. There's plenty of detail and I think Samsung and Xiaomi do a good job here. Now here of course some ultra wide shots as well. Now I have to state something, I was using a case on the Xiaomi 12 Pro that actually covers the lens a little bit when you use that ultra wide. Therefore you will see a black roundness around it. This is not because of Xiaomi but basically because of that case. Just so you know.
And then we get to low light. Now low light has a lot to do with computational photography, especially on phones. Yes, the sensors on both of these devices are quite large for a phone, but compared to something like my camera right there, they're nothing. And therefore there needs to be a system to compensate for the comparable smaller sensor. This however often does result in an image that I don't like. There are a lot of phones out there that think, you know what, let's make that low light situation kind of like a daytime, or like there's a haze to the air, or like it's just cloudy. That doesn't work well. Night shots need a specific thing going on with it to make it have that character of a low light shot. If you want to capture your family or something like that, then I can get it. If you're in a restaurant or something like that. But if you want a low light shot outside, a lot of phones do it wrong. So, let me say one thing. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra gets easily beaten by the Xiaomi 12 Pro. Not only does the Xiaomi 12 Pro take the image much faster than the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, it also creates an image that is far better for low light. It doesn't make the sky too blue or too bright or anything like that. The Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra loves making it too bright. And of course with that you will see some grain as well. I will show you pictures in a bit. That's the main thing and the main thing you can take off when it comes to low light. Just some information for you, what was the situation when taking low light shots, because I think that matters as well, perspective. It was 12 in the midnight, so really dark, apart from having a full moon. This means that there is some light without a doubt coming to us. The sky was a little bit of a tint of blue in there, and you could see the clouds a little bit as well because of that full moon. So there was some sort of brightness to the sky itself. Therefore, it isn't completely black, for instance, in some situations where you do have that. So let's jump into comparing both of these in low light now.
Now for low light I would do it a little bit different. I will showcase different images zoomed in more, showcasing a clear difference between the approach of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and the Xiaomi 12 Pro. As stated, the Xiaomi easily wins this. The skies are more how it was, there was a slight blue tint to it, and yes, sometimes you will see that the sky is pretty much black on the Xiaomi, which isn't very representative, but in terms of overall shot, it's much clearer, much sharper, far more details, and the biggest thing is, Samsung has so much grain to it that you can sometimes even think, are there stars or is that just a lot of grain? And I don't know why, but it feels like Samsung hasn't improved at all in low light. I would even make the argument that it's gotten worse over time. Not to mention that Samsung likes to brighten their images by a lot. I don't get what is going on here in low light compared to of course the Xiaomi, but it seems Samsung hasn't improved at all over the time, and the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra gets easily beaten here by the Xiaomi, both for the ultra wide and the main sensor. It's not even close honestly. However, something that I will have to state is that the Xiaomi does sometimes have some bother with of course flares, especially for the ultra wide.
So that was the camera comparison between the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra and of course the Xiaomi 12 Pro. Both of these performed in a very different way and a lot of things come down to preference. My preference clearly goes to the Xiaomi here in terms of shots. I think Xiaomi does it better for me in terms of somewhat being a photographer. I don't want to say that I'm like a really good photographer, but I do have a certain style where I prefer the more photographer-like image instead of the bright Instagram kind of look, if that makes sense. I don't mean to discredit some Instagrammers because there are a lot of people who do that really well, but I just want to say that I prefer a certain style where it is more realistic and allows me to capture some character. I still think Sony does that best, but nonetheless, I think here between these two, the Xiaomi 12 Pro clearly wins. I'm very curious how this one goes against the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra though. We're gonna compare that as well. Either way, let me know what you think about the result and which you prefer at the end. Either way, hope you enjoyed this video and I hope I don't say either way anymore. Have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.